Hello everyone, my name is Aslam Moolla and I am a registered attorney, and in today's video I've got a special guest, Douglas Nelson, who has his international honors in marketing, and he's going to be talking to us about business fundamentals. We're also going to be covering about the important aspects when it comes to running a business. Many people have lost their jobs during the COVID. Retrenchments, looting, a whole bunch of factors, poor economy. People are left without an income. How do they survive? What do they do? We've been getting a lot of queries from people in terms of how to start a business, what are the important aspects, and that's exactly what we're going to be covering in today's video. So, good to you, Doug.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I've had my own businesses for, well, knee high to my father's kilt. I had a tuck shop at school, and I had this. And when I left school, I got involved in restaurants as a waiter, and as a waiter, as a manager, and owner. Next thing I had a whole bunch of restaurants. Next thing I put all the eggs in a basket and I lost it all. Started up again, started studying, started up again, started business consulting. And one of the key things that I've learned throughout my experience with business, several more and more, is the fear that everyone has that they somehow can't run a business, or they somehow don't have it in them to run a business. And I am always flabbergasted by this, because every single person is their own business, whether they believe it or not. And the only mistake that they make is they earn a salary. It's not your salary, it's your turnover. Every time, every month that you work, every week that you work, every pay cycle that you get, all that you've done is you've said, I have got a customer, and that customer is paying me X. Now, some people settle for their salaries, some people that, and it's just like a business. If you want to make more money in a business, you trim expenses or you increase your turnover. The same as in your house, your household.
All right, so what you're trying to say, Doug, is each person, whether they have a job or starting a business, in essence is a businessman or woman.
Correct.
If you have a job, you are the product. If you have a business, you're selling products, which brings us to the first one, which is one of the first, or the first aspect to discuss from 5, product. Doug, what does product have, what does it mean in relation to what we're talking about today?
Well, let me just back up a little bit over there. What we've prepared today, there's lots of business models, and there's lots of models that explain all sorts of angles of marketing and business. We've studied those things. But we've just settled on 5 key factors which I think are important, which are easily understandable to the people out there in order to make your own business. Now, firstly, it's in your mind, as I say. So you are your own business. The next step is, what exactly are you? And that's what this is, the product. What exactly are you selling? Now, don't think product as in, oh, it must just be a coaster or a coffee mug or whatever. It could be a service. It could be something along those lines. But whatever it is, whatever you choose to do, make sure it's something that you like to do. Make sure that it's that thing that motivates you in the morning. Some people love fishing, okay? So if you're unemployed, you've got nothing at home, but you like fishing, then think, how can I do something? Start a YouTube channel on fishing, for instance. There is no start, but it's something you like, something you want to do, something you will do. If it's something you don't like, it's simply not going to work. Going to work is going to be a chore. If it's a chore, it's not going to be your own business.
I see. So the first aspect, viewers, is identifying the product or service. As Doug mentioned, that means finding something that you like, something that you are passionate about. That's going to give you the motivation to continue doing it when the going gets tough.
An example, just a personal example from me. I had a really weird hobby of Excel, Microsoft Excel. I just really enjoyed it. I found it worked, it helped to simplify my life. I wrote little Excel spreadsheets and calculators to work in. And next thing somebody said, oh, that's nice, I want one. Oh, that's nice, can you do this, can you do this? Next thing, this is coming down after losing the business, after losing my restaurants and all of those, after going down again and losing all these things. Coming back, and it's simply the hobby that made it happen. Have you got Microsoft on your computer? Great, let me pop over, I'd write them a spreadsheet. And it would be that simple, starting with 0 resources, but it's something you like, something you want to do, something. Even in the office, there's got to be something that you do in the office that you're better at than somebody else. Just name it and put it up. Product or service, as long as you care about it. If you don't care about it, not going to happen.
All right, what is the second most important thing when it comes to the 5 fundamentals of business?
Well, the one thing is, as I say, the product or service, but most importantly is, once you've got the product or services, the market. Who's going to buy it? So in a lot of cases, we're dealing with your circle of friends. So if I'm trying to sell Excel to a circle of friends, they're going to look at me in a very strange tone of voice. It's not going to work. So you've got to think, who is going to get it? Who are you going to approach who wants to do it? In my particular case, I said a big business is going to have some fancy software and they've got big budget. A small business isn't going to understand the need for that software. A medium-sized business will understand the need for that software. And so I went around and I looked at cars that were driving past, and I looked specifically for companies that had about 3 or 4 cars, branded cars. If they had more than that, I knew they were too big and they wouldn't buy my software. If they only had 1 car, I figured they would all fly by night and they didn't understand the value of a fancy Excel spreadsheet. And so those are the people literally I targeted. I'd go past the office blocks and I'd see how many cars, I'd write them down. The next day I'd come back, I'd try to look a bit dignified with a briefcase, and I would approach them about simple solutions I could do that. Identify the market and I went for it. Now, given the modern economy where we are now, that market doesn't necessarily need to be just in where you can walk, where your 2 feet can take you. It can take you where your fingers can take you, on the internet, on your phone. The internet is amazing, and there's so many free tools to get to the entire South African market, or even the world economy, is not difficult. You can open up a Shopify account, a WordPress online sales. There's so many ways and aspects. And shipping, don't be caught by shipping. To take a parcel and send a parcel anywhere in South Africa, store to door, is 100 Rand through Pick and Pay.
And most customers online would be willing to pay for that because they understand there's a shipping cost.
Of course. You've got companies like, I don't want to plug them, but
names,
yeah, but I will in this particular case because they've got a great service, is domains.co.za. They've got this online web builder, which is 99 Rand. You get your website, your hosting and everything, and it's drag and drop. I mean, I knew nothing about web pages. 99 Rand, I've got a fully functioning e-store. There are so many things out there to help you get to your market. So if you think the market's South Africa, there's tools to get there. It's not a difficult thing. If you've got something that not many people are going to buy, make your market as big as possible. If you've got something that few people are going to buy, focus it, like I focused on the small business, because that was my intention. But you get other people who have fishing. So for instance, as I mentioned, a YouTube channel on fishing, or something along those lines. Just set it out there, but you've got to understand, if you throw it everywhere, nothing's going to happen. You've got to find the type of person. If I'm trying to sell a fishing video, I'm not going to send it to somebody who doesn't do fishing, who is into makeup and into doing their fingernails. They're not going to like a fishing video. So you've got to understand who your market is. I'm selling a fishing product, I'm going to sell it to that type of market. You've got to bear your market in mind. If you haven't identified one, your product's not going to work.
So there you go, viewers. Number 1 is the product or service, and number 2 is the market. What's the third thing, Doug?
Well, you can have a market and you can have a product, but the two need to mix. And there are competitors out there, so you've got to find out what's unique. What makes your product or service unique to that market? So for instance,
what do you mean by unique?
Well, there's lots of people doing everything. There's lots of competitors. Call centers are run through India and China. A lot of the stuff can be done anywhere. Websites can be produced absolutely anywhere in the world. So what makes it unique to you? What makes your market, your product, appeal to your market more? Right? So just an example, for me, I wrote unique spreadsheets. My products were unique. I went in with my business experience. I looked at the business, I identified that they hit the affordability scale, and then I went in and I found unique problems and systems that they would help. Maybe updating databases, updating sales databases, manual things that I knew how to do, and I could write unique software for them. In the example that I used about fishing, you are unique because you're here in beautiful offices, by the way, in Aslam, by the way.
Thank you.
And so you're in Umhlanga Beach, that makes you unique. Make sure in your videos that they see your unique location. People will see, oh, he's in Umhlanga, oh, he's on the beach. That's what they're going to focus on. What makes you will make somebody choose your business, your product, over the multiple, a lot of businesses, a lot of competition.
How important is branding when it comes to that? And what do you mean by branding? Is it just coming up with a logo and colors?
It is a little bit of coming up with the logo and the colors, but the main thing is consistency. Whatever you do, be consistent in it. Sometimes it can be the branding and the colors that go with it.
For example, what we have here.
Correct, yes. Another example would be a tagline. That's it. Morkel's, your 2-year guarantee store. We all remember that because we can barely remember what Morkel's was. We remember the tagline. We remember those things. So there's on YouTube, they've got there's one channel, and he says, "Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again." And he's got it sounds like everything else. It doesn't work. You need that little tagline or something that makes you unique. A lot of videos will have a unique introduction. You've got the lion that comes in. Every time somebody sees that lion in the roar, they're identified as legal leaders, whether you're in the video or not.
It's very unique.
And it is repeated, and it's there all the time. So again, it's consistently applied across all things. Every time somebody sees a lion, they're seeing legal leaders.
So, viewers, what have we covered so far? Number one is product or service. Make sure you have something that you're passionate about. Number two, make sure you've identified the market for your product and service. Number three, what you've just discovered now, is the unique selling point. What's going to differentiate you from everyone else in the market? What's next, Doug?
Well, differentiating yourself in the market is one thing, absolutely. But one of the key things that goes with it, absolutely, is matcha. It's money. And everyone says, and they've all got that same limit, oh my, I've got a great idea, I can't get money. Where am I going to get money for it? What they don't realize is most businesses actually don't have money. If it's, I think Bob Proctor, he's got a thing, it's not about the money. If it's about the money, it's not going to work. Money is the end result. Money will come out of it, but it's not about money. You can start a business, as I said, with a cell phone, a YouTube channel. You can literally start it with that. You don't need anything more than that. All you need is the first things. You need the market, you need the product, you need the market, you need something that makes you unique, and then from there, you'll get it out. Capital will come to you. People with money are attracted towards people with money, and they're attracted towards investments. So people will come to you. If you've got 5 or 6 videos out there start going viral, you've got 2,000 or 3,000 hits, people are going to come to you and they're going to say, I want to place my product in your video. And that happens. They will naturally come. They will come towards you. They will gravitate towards you. Sometimes you've got to be a bit more than that. But whatever it is, you've got to actually have that energy. You've got to create that energy. If you don't create that energy, you're not going to find the capital that comes in. If you're looking for an investor, what they all want to see, what all investors do is they salivate for money. Everyone talks about a business plan, and that is critical. You need a business plan, but a business plan is still a piece of paper. People need to come in. They've got to pick up your energy, and then they're going to ask you for the facts. They want to know about your business. And that's where a real business plan comes in, where you've done your research, you've done your homework, and it's not that difficult for you because it's what you like. It's your product.
Yes.
It's what you really enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah. And you follow that through. A lot of people are going to say, but I'm not sure. So it is very important to do your real homework. Capital, people with money, they want money, they want results. So they might buy into the dream, they're not silly. When they come across to you and you show them those pieces of paper, do proper homework. Don't just tell them that some type of dream. Say, listen, I started with a camera and I've got 4,000 people watching me on YouTube at the moment. I've got 5,000 fans and friends, and it's all with my cell phone camera. So I can do that. I've already built that. This is my growth. This is what I want to do. A clear plan, business plan. Without the plan, they're going to come to you and they're either going to take massive advantage of you, or they're going to walk away because they're going to see a little bit of a spark and realize there's no flame, and they're going to run away. So you've got to be very, very careful about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important point, viewers. Capital is important, but it's not something that's the stumbling block. And that's why we got it as number 4. A lot of people say, oh no, I need the money first before then I'll have the idea and the market. No, you're doing it in reverse, as Doug correctly pointed out. Number 1, identify your product and service. 2, the market. 3, what's going to make you different in the market. Then only you start thinking about the capital requirements. And believe it or not, unless you're in some specific niche industry like engineering, where you need massive investments of equipment, most businesses don't require huge startup costs. You're not buying a franchise or anything like that. You're starting a business. You start by taking little steps, and then you start growing from there. So by taking the little steps, your capital requirements are not that huge. You don't need 100 million rand grant. Just a small enough capital that you can get that ball rolling.
It's funny you actually mentioned engineering, but you don't know this part about my background, but I was actually involved in an engineering firm. And this firm, of the restaurants, they literally started in a garage. And all that he did is he was fixing a few gates and doing some little minor steel work and things like that. But he kept the money going into a bank account, into a proper business bank account. And he got the trading history, and then when it came time to move, he had a credit history. So the bank would loan him the money, which allowed him to buy the equipment, which allowed him to buy the guillotines, to buy the things. So with his trading history, he was actually able to grow his own business. The banks saw it, the banks liked it, and they gave him the capital. They were watching all your moves. So if you're running it through all your business, you're running it through a bank account and a business bank account, you're actually getting your trading history as you go, and you can grow without having to get a third party investing. The bank will give you money, but you need that trading history. And I think that leads to the 4th aspect now, which is
the
fifth aspect rather, which is the legalities of the business.
Yes, and as you can see, viewers, it's the last point. Don't go run off and start getting all the legal documents in order if you haven't done the first 4 things.
I had a client phone me, and all excited, she's starting a business, and she wants to know, does she go PTY or this or that? And I said, well, what's the business? And she didn't know. I said, well, no, she'll come to it, she's going to, and you don't have a business. Start off, now the basic ranking for business, mark me if I'm wrong, you're the lawyer. I feel like I'm lecturing a lawyer on this, but the first thing is a sole proprietor, which is one person by themselves selling chappies on the side of the road or whatever the thing is. And that's it. You are the business, what you do, and that's where most businesses start. You start with zero capital, it's your hobby, you're doing it, and you've got a lot of co-mingling of funds. And that, the more that business grows, the more difficult it becomes, and the more clear to you it becomes, is what you're doing is profitable. I'm making a lot of money, but I'm spending a lot of money. What is me? What is the business? And when you reach that stage where it becomes difficult to say what is you and what is the business, that's when you must then say, you know what? It is now time for me to split the business. And you can start in small ways. Set up a separate business account, which I really recommend as soon as possible.
But now if you want a separate business account, Doug, don't you think the bank's going to want some documents from you?
Well, it is.
Will they want PTY documents? Will they want all of those things? Or can you open it up as an SP?
Correct. Well, what you can do is literally, if you're with Standard Bank, open up a Capitec account or something like that. Literally a separate bank account. Still in your personal
separate bank.
With a separate bank.
Oh, I see what you mean. So what Doug is saying is, we can still run a sole proprietor business without the need to go and formalize. Just open that business bank account with another bank, so you know in your mind that's your business bank account.
Correct. The steel work, all the money that I do in steel work, all the money that I do for the fishing videos and sponsorship, that goes into the Capitec account for argument. But my personal bank account is with FNB or whatever. So you know when you go out for dinner, you swipe that. When you transfer money from the Capitec into your account, you are paying one of your bills.
What about partnerships and those things? Shall a person take on a partner? What if somebody says, I've got the money, I want to be a partner in the business?
Well, that's where we get people like you involved. Because partners are, look, they can be amazing, but you've got to be aware of it. But the moment you change from you to somebody else, get it in writing.
Why is that important?
Because
what if that person's your uncle or your best friend?
Well, the blood is thicker than water, but there's no blood thicker than ink. All right, money will kill all relationships, If you don't quantify it, write it down, just like your marriage with an antenuptial contract or any of those things, formalize it. Formalize your partnership agreement.
Is it fine just to download one off Google?
Yeah, I suppose you could do that.
If you can't afford a lawyer, can you do that? But make
Yes.
sure that you do something. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you've got to just do something. Make it clear. What are the rights? What are the obligations? What is your job? What do they expect you to do?
Drawings, expenses, who's going to be in charge of payments?
That's it. And obviously, the bigger your business, because if you're just filming fish on the thing, that's a lot of fun. Your expenses are kind of low, maybe buying fishing tackle and videos and things like that.
Are you a big fan of fishing, by the way? I see it's a consistent theme, an example in every area.
No, I understand you are, and I thought
am.
that is. I thought I'd just go. I couldn't actually tell you the difference between a Dorado and a Dorado. In fact, or the Dorado and
A tuna.
And a tuna, for instance. Yeah.
But going back to your point,
Yeah.
what about PTYs? What about joint ventures? All those kind of things.
Yeah.
What about getting government work? That's big in South Africa.
Yeah, government work is big, but you're not there yet necessarily. So once you move past the sole proprietorship and things are getting a bit bigger, you're going to have an issue with tax start coming along. Now, by then you would know if your business is working or not. If you've been trading a year and you're still having to, if the thing's not paying for itself, you can take a pretty good guess that the thing's going to fail. If it's been going for a year and it's actually doing all right, then you can say, you know what, I need to start formalizing this, because remember, as a sole proprietor, you're paying maximum tax. It is hitting you. So when SARS catches you at the end, because they will, because that's what they do, they're going to say you've got two bank accounts, you're acting as one, they're going to tax you at the max.
Never hide the tax man.
Always pay your taxes.
And it's important because when you want a loan from the bank, they're going to check for your tax clearance certificates.
Yeah.
So one way or another, pay your taxes.
Yeah. People are worried about registering for VAT and all the rest. You only register for VAT if your turnover is over a certain amount,
yeah.
and that's way down the road.
Don't worry about that.
Not yet. You do have to worry about that.
But not now.
But by the time you start worrying about that, you will be aware. When you start getting your 50s and 100,000 rand deals coming in, you know very much that you've got to now move towards tax, which means formalizing your business away from a sole proprietorship into something like a PTY. Now, the old Companies Act used to allow for CCs, closed corporations. Those went out in, I think, 2008.
Yeah, after the new Companies Act in 07.
Correct.
Yeah.
But when that came out, I think you can still get them.
But they shelf, you can't open a new one.
You can't open a new one.
You buy existing ones. But essentially the new act treats them both the same, so there's no point.
But the key point is the personal liability changes. In a sole proprietorship or even a partnership, okay, you are personally liable. I had a business experience where as I said, my restaurant's closed. I had all my eggs in a basket, went up, and they went running after me. Fortunately, I had a CC, and I could not be touched personally. They could not take my jacket, they could not take my car, they could not take my shoes, because it was all protected on that. They went through, they found I'd done my best, I matched all the fiduciary duties, I did as many things as I could do. The business failed.
And that happens sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's why the law does allow for creation of PTYs and CCs. It's not illegal to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. That business inherently is a risk. Let's face it. You're putting your product out, got a market with competitors, you're trying to be unique about it, you've got the capital which you had to borrow, whatever it is. Now you're out there in the market, you've legalized. It is a risk. So you're going to make sure you mitigate that risk by creation of documents and inks and things like that.
Yeah,
in closing, Doug, is there anything else that you want to say to the viewers? Just to recap, number one, for those of you who just joined us, product, make sure you have a good product or service, make sure you identify your market, make sure that there's something unique about what you are doing, make sure that you have the capital to run the business, ideally for the first 2 or 3 months. By that time, the ball is rolling, and the last one, legalities at a later stage.
I just want to say that the money will come. And yes, a lot of business, they say, oh, I need this, oh, I need this. Make a plan. I mean, do you really need this fancy state-of-the-art cell phone in order to do filming? No, you just need the basics. Get out there. There's a guy, Gary V, I think it is, and he's got a thing, just get out and do it.
Yeah, it
just,
doesn't have to be perfect.
If you If you are sitting there forever, I can't film because I don't have a fancy microphone.
You'll never get it done.
You'll never get it done.
And even when you get the microphone, then it's going to be something else.
Correct. It'll be another hurdle which is up here. It's not a real hurdle. Oh, I don't have a license to Microsoft Excel. Google Sheets is free. Okay, it's practically the same thing. Oh, I can't do this. But look out, there's so many in the Uber economy that we've got today, the internet economy. There are so many things that are free. Literally, companies are trying desperately to get businesses going. What's stopping businesses going is mentally up here, where you believe you can't. And I can't emphasize, just to go back to what I started on, is that you are your own business. You have been earning, you just made a mistake in that you think of it as a salary. It's not a salary, it's your turnover. And if you want to be more, you can cut expenses and you can increase, you can ask your boss for a raise, or you can start another business on the side if they'll allow you. And if
or add more value to the business.
Add more value. There's so many things that you do in your own will just to get a raise from your boss or to make more money at the end of your month. At the end of the month, you don't understand that that's exactly the same as a business. And once you've crossed that, jumped that mental barrier, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. All right, viewers, there you go. And speaking about free resources, we have, make sure to visit our website, legalleaders.co.za, or any one of our YouTube channels. We've got channels dedicated to labor law in South Africa, family law, and business law. In-depth videos discussing various topics. Hope you found this video useful. If you need help in your situation, you're more than welcome to click the link below and book an appointment with our office. I wish you all the best, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.